Y'all, you know what I'm gonna make for dinner tonight? Burger bowls. Okay. All the goodness of your favorite In-N-Out burger in a bowl and not a bun. Doesn't that sound fun? I found some ground beef in my freezer this morning and I was like, I know what I'm doing. I've been really trying to eat more at home and not go out. So everybody better say they're proud of me in the comments. Okay, anyway, everybody say hi to Snorlax. Hello, he's taking a nap, you know. One thing that we cannot sleep on, amazing segue, is the opinions of others. Today, I kind of want to react to crochet hot takes on TikTok. So let's just see how this goes. Hey babes! Welcome or welcome back to Moonbae Crochet. It is Brandy and today I'm here to react to TikTok's unpopular crochet opinions or crochet hot takes, if you will. In case you're new here, my name is Brandy. I love to do crochet content on here. Love to share patterns and projects that I love. Have a chill little crochet and yap sesh with you guys. Sometimes reading stories, whether they be Reddit stories or stories that you guys submit to my inbox, which is always linked down below, by the way. I just like to get cute, cozy, and crafty with y'all. So if any of that kind of content sounds interesting to you, I would love it if you would consider subscribing and sticking around. We have lots of fun here. Also, in case anybody is, curious or anybody else has TikTok out there, I also have a TikTok. I am at Moonbae Crochet over there. So go, feel free to follow me over there. To be honest, I don't post all that much. I'm trying to be better about posting more short form content. So, just give me a little follow. And you know what? While I'm on this shameless self-promo little bandwagon here, feel free to follow me on Instagram as well. With all that being said, let's go ahead and hop on TikTok and see what people's crochet hot takes are. I have a feeling this is going to be very fun.
Crochet hot takes, y'all. Let's do it.
Just because you crochet does not mean you need to have a crochet business.
Yeah, I agree with that for sure. No, you don't need to monetize your hobby. Just because you know how to crochet does not mean that you need to make money off of it. And I feel like anybody that tells you otherwise is indeed incorrect.
If you're a beginner, don't buy a pattern, watch a video. We all started off YouTube.
Yeah, there's so many free patterns online that if you are a beginner, absolute beginner, I just feel as though you don't need to be spending money on crochet patterns. A lot of times it even takes a while before you even learn how to read those things. Just watch a free tutorial on YouTube, get familiar with that. There are thousands, hundreds of thousands online.
Patterns are not meant to teach you how to crochet. They're meant to teach you how to crochet a certain piece.
That if you don't already know how to crochet, buying a crochet pattern is pointless. Or even if it's a free one, a written one, the pattern isn't written out to teach you how to crochet. It's teaching you how to crochet this amigurumi. So if you don't already know how to crochet, it's going to be pointless reading this pattern. They're not going to show you how to do a magic ring and a slip knot and all these things.
If you got the idea from somebody else, give the credit.
Hello? I feel like that is just common courtesy. Basic. Yes. Give credit if you yourself did not come up with the idea for this project. Please just say, or at least inspired by this person. Tag them. It's so easy to give credit. And I feel like it's very weird when people don't. I don't think that any of those were actually hot takes. I very much agree with every single one of them.
I have never done a gauge swatch and it has turned out to be a problem more than once. So I would say, guys, do your gauge swatches. I'm not going to start, but you guys should.
The fact that it's if you don't do your gauge swatch, you are going to have issues. This piece probably is not going to come out correctly. It is not going to fit you, just so you know. It's you could know all of that. Am I going to make one? No.
I hated the Taylor Swift crochet dress. I thought it was ugly. And please don't shout at me because I love Taylor Swift. The dress, I didn't like it. I think everyone just got excited because Taylor Swift was wearing crochet.
I didn't see Taylor Swift's crochet dress. I'm not a Swift fan. I was gonna say a Swiftie, right? That's what they're called. Not a fan. I don't dislike her by any means. She's just there. So I didn't see this and, whatever.
I think it's annoying and stupid how whenever somebody takes up crochet, immediately people tell them that they should sell their work. That's exactly what I did. Then I stopped because it made me lose passion for the hobby. And I also think people don't realise how hard it is to sell crochet for a fair price because it's such a slow craft and not many people are willing to pay you for the time that it takes. I wish that I could crochet using the pencil hold, but I just can't do it. I literally cannot. I've tried. I've really tried. But I find watching people crochet with the pencil hold much more satisfying to look at. I just can't do it. I will always stick to my toddler style knife hold.
Yes, I agree with that one. Pencil hold is much more satisfying to look at. It looks way more aesthetically pleasing. I cannot do it to save my life. I mean, I can. I've done it. I've tried. It just doesn't feel right, and it'll take me like way longer to do a crochet project in that style than just holding it, like she said, with my little toddler knife hold. Okay, just leave me in my little toddler knife hold alone.
Come crochet with me and I'm gonna tell you my hot takes. I just saw somebody else do this and I'm inspired because I love to complain. So here we are, hello. My first hot take, I already made a video about this, but who cares if you use cheap yarn? I'm using Red Heart right now. Who got? Honestly, if you're making clothes for yourself, who cares if you make it with acrylic? I know that everybody's like, don't use acrylic for clothes. I have made plenty of clothes with acrylic because if I'm just making a piece that I'm gonna wear just for like an event, I don't really care that it's like breathable. Like that's my problem, you know?
I agree. I've made sweaters in acrylic before. I feel like there's certain acrylics that like they make that have a fantastic drape and they're really soft and like nice, you know. Who cares? What? It's not like I need this thing to be for every single day use. It's a crochet piece. Obviously, I'm not going to be wearing it into the ground. Nobody's going to stop me from making sweaters in acrylic. They're just not.
If you come to my booth at a market and you pick up something that took me like 30 hours to make and I have kindly priced it at like $50 and you look at me and roll your eyes, I should be allowed to hit you.
Hell yeah, girl. I agree with that one. Like, hell yeah, you should be allowed to hit them. Like, what are you? Don't be looking at me stupid. That's funny. I agree. Yeah, because it's like, hold on. This took me so long. I'm literally not even paying myself minimum wage for this item and you're rolling your eyes at me. Just get out of my booth. Leave. Go spend your money elsewhere. What?
Okay, this is when I'm like, I can see both sides of this, but I think that people need to stop complaining about crochet booths mostly having the same stuff because it's what sells. That's the problem. It's like they're like, well, all crochet booths only have stuffed animals and they're all like the same stuffed animals. That's because most of the time when people make anything else, it doesn't sell. Like my like accessories, my hats, my headbands, my bookmarks, none of that gets touched.
Our last point about like, well, that's what sells. Yeah, I agree. Well, I've only really done one market in my life, but I have prepped for another market and I was mainly prepping a bunch of plushies, amigurumis and stuff like that. And I was doing my best to like try to make them be things different than what I've seen at other booths before. But I mean, I think that she's completely right because there were other things too that I wanted to prep, but I just kind of sort of kept pushing them off. But like things like cup cozies, bookmarks, even some scarves, things like that. And but you know, from my experience of the one market that I did do, yeah, I made a ton of cup cozies, coaster sets, like things that are gorgeous. And I'm like, oh my God, they were like really fun. And I was like, dude, people are going to be buying these like hotcakes. I need to make so many. None of them got bought. Nothing. It's kind of sucks. It's kind of disheartening. That's why sometimes I feel like it's easier to just sell online than to go and do a market unless you want to just be making basic stuff that you know that people are going to like buy. But to me, it doesn't give me satisfaction to do that. Like I want to make things that I think are useful and things that I think are cute and, you know, a lot of times that stuff doesn't sell, unfortunately.
Market fees are getting ridiculous. What do you mean? Like, I literally just paid over $100 to be somewhere for 6 hours. Not even a full day. Not even, like, a full day. Like, that's crazy.
The market that I was most recently prepping for was even more exorbitant, if you could believe it. It's a thing that happens once a year in my area. The lowest fee, by the way, for a booth was for an outdoor booth. And by the way, you have to commit to both days. So for the first day is 6 hours and the second day is 5 hours. So 11 hours total. The smallest booth that you can have outside would have been $100, right? The one that I got accepted for was an outdoor booth for $200, right? But truthfully, what I wanted was the small booth indoors because I didn't want to be outside. The ground was so muddy, first of all. Like, obviously you can't like predict these things, but that was the reason that I didn't want to be outside. It's like in towards the end of November, you know, you run the risk of like it being rainy. I don't have like a tent set up, so I'm like, you know, and a lot of people probably aren't even going to show up if it gets super rainy and gross. And so, and they do it rain or shine, and you're not getting your money back if you don't show up. They just take it, and you know, if you don't show up, that's your problem. You're not getting your money back, and you're probably never going to get accepted to come back again. But anyway, the one that I applied for was the indoor booth, the smaller one. That would have been $300. The bigger booth indoors, which funny enough, the small booth is 10 feet by 10 feet. The big one is 10 feet by 20 feet. Okay, so you're only getting 10 extra feet, and it's double the price. It would have been $600 to get the indoor bigger booth. What are we doing? What the are we doing? So that's exactly why I applied for the small indoor booth, which I already knew $300 was going to be so much money for me. Like, that's not something that I can just easily swing, but I figured if I can sell enough of my products, then, you know, maybe I'll at least make my money back and hopefully gain a little bit of profit. But they didn't. They were like, oh, well, we have room for you outside if you want. That'll be $200 though. Which, by the way, it said the small booth outside would have been $100. For some reason, they were charging me $200 for a small booth outside. Regardless, I was like, no, I'm not doing this. No. Give my spot to somebody else. I'm over it. And that was that. And I didn't do the market. So now I'm left with all of these plushies that I market prepped. And, you know, but yeah, I agree with this. That's like an insane fee. Like, what are we doing? What are we doing?
I just personally think that you don't necessarily have to ever pay for a pattern unless you just really want that one specific design, because if you look on YouTube enough, you'll find plenty of tutorials, and you could like mix tutorials together and do this part of this, this part of this, this part of this, and like do something up here and like make it your own, and you probably would never have to buy a pattern. Although if you like somebody's pattern and you want to support them, buy the pattern, you know?
I think that a lot of people sometimes put themselves in a box and they're like, pattern for this, you know, but it's like, crochet is your oyster. You know that if you like love this sweater pattern, but you're like, but the neckline, but the cuffs, but it's like, well, I love the cuffs and neckline of this sweater, and I love the body of this sweater. Just Frankenstein a pattern yourself. Like, there are so many, like, girl, there's so many things that you can do with crochet that honestly it is unnecessary to buy patterns. It really is, unless you really want this specific pattern, like you love the way that this item came out that this person designed. Like, I am all for supporting pattern artists. Like, I love some of my favorite, like Peggy Gurumi, Happy Turtle Crochet. Like, there's so many pattern designers that I love, and I will shell out my money to support them because I think that they do such a good job. Their patterns are phenomenal. Like, I love them, they're great. But there are definitely ways, like, to just kind of teach yourself how to make basic shapes. If it really came down to that, you don't ever have to pay for a pattern for something. You can definitely just figure out how to do it yourself.
What I made in a month videos feature way too many projects. When I see these project videos with 10 plus finished items, I do question their authenticity and also the intention, whether they actually wanted to make those pieces or are they just making them to show them off in this one video. It's a really big strain on your body to be crocheting that much. I think it sets a very false idea of what this hobby actually is, and it's not about who's making the most and who's crocheting the quickest. It's actually about mindfulness, mental health, slowing things down.
I think that all these, like, what I crocheted in a month, what I crocheted in a week style videos, like, good for you if it's like legit, but a lot of times I do think that they're fake. I think that they maybe have a backstock of things and they're just showing off things like to say that they did it in this week, but it's like, you can't believe everything you see on the internet. And a lot of times I do think that, like, why are you doing this? Like, are you trying to make it seem like you're the fastest crocheter in the world? Like, are you trying to show off? Like, what is the motivation here? If I showed you a what I crocheted in a week video, I would literally be holding up one piece, maybe just like 1 or 2 granny squares, and being like, and that's what I crocheted this week, guys. Like, you know, it's just, and not to say that people can't crochet many more things and like much faster than me. Like, I've never claimed to be a fast crocheter. In fact, I've claimed on multiple occasions that I'm pretty slow, but I think it's just more because I'm just trying to enjoy myself. It's not like a race to me. And so I'm not saying that 100% all of these what I crocheted in a month videos are fake. I'm just saying a lot of times I do very much doubt the authenticity of these things, just like she said.
I believe that not frogging projects that you are not touching and not wearing is actually very wasteful. This little project here has been sat in my whip pile for over a year and a half, and I know that I will never finish it, so I'm frogging it because I can reuse this yarn for something else. I truly believe that it's better to frog something than have it sit underneath your bed or in your wardrobe untouched for years to come. Let me know if you agree with any of these.
I mean, she probably has a point there. There's definitely projects I have that have been sitting for years, and you know, it's just kind of like in the back of my head I always think like, well, I'll get back to it eventually, but at the end of the day I'm like, will I? You know, maybe she does have a point there. You know, even if I do pick up this project, I'm not good at like organizing, especially in the past. So, you know, I'm gonna pick it up, but like, well, what hook size was I using? How do I know what dye lot this, you know, yarn was? Like, honestly, she's probably right. I should probably just go in and like frog other projects that I have sitting for years. That way I can make room for new things and, you know, actually get things done. Like, what's the point of holding on to this thing that if I, you know, it's like the rule of thumb when you're like trying to clean out your closet. Like, if I haven't worn it in 6 months, it needs to go, sort of thing. I have a project that I've probably been sitting for 6 years, so probably should take her advice.
My crochet hot takes part 2. I make wearables out of acrylic yarn. I think that the overconsumption of yarn and the idea of having to have a huge yarn stash is too normalized in the crochet community. I do not hate knitters. I don't know why this is a thing on like TikTok that crocheters don't like knitters. No, I'm jealous that I can't knit as fast as you can.
Hello? What? What? Is that a thing? People think that crocheters don't like knitters? Since when? That is the silliest thing I've ever heard in my life. And yeah, I'm actually jealous that I don't know how to knit and I'm too intimidated to even try.
I don't think there's a wrong way to hold a crochet hook. A lot of people come at me for the way I hold mine. I have hypermobile Ehlers-Danlos syndrome. My hands are very hypermobile. I hold my hook like a pencil, and sometimes I adjust in a way that I guess a lot of people don't and people think is weird, but I've adjusted for the mobility that I have. And lastly, I think every crocheter should have the tools to take care of their wrist health, whether it's stretches, compression gloves, taking breaks. It is so important, and you can prevent injury that way.
I don't think that last one was a hot take at all. That's actually very, very smart. The way that she was holding her hook, though, it was a little bit strange, I'm not gonna lie. Like, I've seen people with pencil grips, but but she did say that she has that condition, so whatever works for her. Again, there's no wrong way. Yeah, like she said, there's no wrong way to hold a crochet hook, okay? I have my toddler grip, like people said.
Here's a crochet hot take for you. Or actually not really a hot take, it's just my opinion. I crochet like this, like a caveman, like style, like that. I cannot stand to watch people pencil hold. I can't. Something in my brain just like freaks out. I can't even watch videos where they crochet like this. I don't know why, and it really bums me out because there's some really cool patterns out there.
That's like honestly hilarious because like I disagree with that. I can't watch people do it. It does kind of freak me out, I'm not gonna lie, but it is more aesthetically pleasing than somebody holding their hook like this. It is, but that's how I hold my crochet hook, so what am I gonna do? Okay, so this one is a photo post and it just says, bored, crochet hot takes, go. None of the basic ones like, oh, I don't use stitch markers. Put my jaw on the floor, please. So I'm excited, let's read these comments. Not too crazy, but I hardly ever use my scissors. I just snap the yarn when I need to. Oh my god. I know that people do that, but I could never. Learning to crochet means that you actually don't count as high as you think you can. I hate when folks say they invented a pattern, but it's something like a plain granny square or single crochet beanie. I pretend to know where the stitches are in chenille yarn. With enough confidence, you scare the yarn into submission. Maybe the stitches were the friends we made along the way. Honestly, that's how it used to be for me. I can see the stitches in chenille now, but I do still struggle to see them with like fluffier yarn. Can't see my stitches worth a damn, so I'm like, what am I doing here? Lord knows, that's why I like don't really pick it up, because I need to be able to see my stitches. Like my brain just won't let me scare the yarn into submission. I have the toxic belief that I can look at something for long enough and figure out how to crochet it myself. Other crocheters aren't your competition. Everything made is worthy of praise, no matter where you are in your crochet journey. I actually made a granny square blanket and it was so repetitive I was able to do it without looking, so then I could crochet while reading fan fiction. I think that's when I peaked in life. Crochet is way too focused on millennials and older. Where are my Gen Z clothing pattern makers? I don't want a beanie. I want funky leg warmers and tops that aren't boho style. I kind of agree with that. A lot of crochet pieces and patterns and stuff like that are a little matronly, okay? But I feel like there are quite a bit of like Gen Z creators out there, and there are a lot of like modern things these days, so if you're not seeing them, I think you're just not looking hard enough. If hair gets tangled into my yarn, it's part of the project now. Hair gets tangled into a lot of my projects, but I do go back and frog and take it out because I can't stand it. I don't like it. I'm like, I know I can see it, so I know somebody else is gonna see it, even though they probably won't. I don't care about hook sizes. I just grab whatever feels right. Every yarn is for a 5mm hook if you try hard enough, honestly, yeah. Can't mess up your stitch count if you aren't following a pattern. Why count rows when tape measure and guesstimate? Crochet tutorials on YouTube need to stop having a white background with white yarn. Like, I'm sorry girl, but I can't see the stitches. Yeah, I don't think I've ever had it where they have a white background and white yarn. Usually it's like a colored yarn on a white or like very neutral tone surface, but I'm sure they exist. I used my septum as a stitch marker once. Ew. I have no problem making a crochet item for anyone completely free, no matter how much it costs, because I just love crochet. However, you're gonna get it when you get it. It might take a few months. I don't count my stitches. I crochet by praying the gods bless me with the ability to eyeball stuff. Some patterns take payment/copyright way too seriously. I bet you our grandmas weren't gatekeeping patterns behind paywalls, and that's why they are so skilled. Yeah, not everything needs to be monetized, y'all. I think some people in the community are colorblind because the color combos y'all choose for your projects are sometimes god awful. Anything can be scissors if it's sharp enough. If I got the stitch count wrong, I just throw an increase or a decrease in there instead of frogging. Me too. Me too. I crochet with my eyes closed because it's easier to visualize for me. If I'm staring at a project, my fingers get all mixed up and I get confused. Oh, wow. I go into a rage when I show people my work and they say, oh, you should sell stuff. Not everything needs to be monetized. Exactly. I buy yarn, then actually use it. I know. Nothing makes me more angry than when I show someone my work and they say, oh my god, I want one, you should make me one. If my yarn is too tangled, I'll cut above and below the tangle and then retie it and use the tangle part as stuffing. What? You're living in the year 3000. Love that for you. IQ 400. Never buying a pattern. The most I will do other than looking at it is zooming in to see the specific stitches. Can't make me pay for something I know how to do. Honestly, I feel like the hatred for single crochet is severely overplayed. I don't mean it has its purposes in amigurumi. I think single crochet blankets are fun as long as you're being reasonable. I mean, yeah, but also, like, I hate single crochet just because it's boring and it takes forever. But I mean, if somebody very much enjoys doing it, I ain't gonna judge you for making a single crochet blanket. It's probably gonna be nice and like thick and stuff because of how tight the stitches are, but I ain't doing it. Sometimes if I don't like the person I'm making something for, I think awful things while making their items in hopes that they get what's coming to them. Oh my god, honestly, like, you know, when people say like, oh, this project was made with love. No, this project was made with pure hatred. Unadulterated loathing. Honestly, I love that. That is freaking hilarious. Well, this was very fun, you guys. Oh my gosh, if any of you come across videos on TikTok or even Instagram Reels, feel free to like send them to me. I'm at moonbaecrochet on TikTok and Instagram, so feel free to send me anything that you maybe would want me to react to. I feel like this would be kind of like a fun series to start doing, but yeah, let me know what you thought of these crochet hot takes. I honestly feel like most of them weren't even really hot takes. Either that or I just agreed with a lot of them. I hope you had fun here today. If you enjoyed the video, please feel free to give it a thumbs up and subscribe if you're not already. I hope everybody has an amazing rest of your day, week, month, night, whatever you're having. Please enjoy yourself, and I will see you all in the next one. Mwah. Bye!